Today, I would like to talk about a fruit that we're really falling in love with. Since we came to France, we've been enjoying very nice pomegranates, very sweet. We've realized how amazing of a fruit is, even to eat it like that, for juice as well, and that it's perfect for this climate. We are here in France, zone 8, and it's quite dry, and this plant loves it. Pomegranate, more than a tree, is a deciduous shrub, so it grows more like very bushy, even though some people prefer to train it into a single trunk, for example in cultivation for keeping it neat to harvest. But if you let it grow naturally, it grows really like very large, and it takes quite some space. The leaf, it's a bit like lanced and a bit long, and it's quite glossy. So it loses its leaves in winter, and it has spines along the branches. So some of the varieties have like crazy spines, some don't. The pomegranate originally comes from Iran, from Afghanistan, from those areas, and then it really went everywhere through the Mediterranean, through the other continents. And it prefers a place where the summer it's hot and a bit dry, and with cool winters. So it's quite drought resistant, even though it likes moist soil and well-drained soil. So it can grow in zone 7 to 11. Usual cultivars are around -10 degrees Celsius resistant, some -12, -15. They need a lot of light, either in full sun or either somewhere like a bit protected from the winds. Flowers quite late. It flowers from April, May, June, which is perfect solution for the late freezes. The flowers are hermaphrodites, so you have both male and flower on the same plant. Usually they grow as 3 flowers with 2 males on the sides and 1 female in the center. So it's actually auto-pollinated. It's self-fertile. The harvest time, it's after 6 months, in around September, October, November here in France. The fruits don't ripen after being harvested, so you have to really wait until they're quite ripe on the trees. And the fruits are usually on the branches 3 years old or older, so you have to really keep this in mind when you want to prune it. So how do you propagate this amazing and beautiful plant? Hardwood cutting is the best way to propagate it, and it's very easy. So you take the cuttings before spring, around like February. You can even take the wood in January and then keep it in the fridge for a month. So you take 20-30 centimeters long branches, quite thick as a pencil diameter, and then you keep that moist you put it in potting mix, and you can cover it even better so that it keeps the moisture. You can take the cuttings. The most vigorous ones are the ones that grow actually inside of the shrub, inside of the bush, because every year there's a lot of like reshoots from the center. So you can take those ones that usually also makes a lot of space in the middle. And you can use those ones. If you have a long branch, you can take the terminal one, you can take the middle one, and you can take the one at the base. It doesn't matter. They all root the same. And a tree propagated from a cutting usually fruits in 3 to 5 years. You can also propagate it by seed. The thing is, with the pomegranate, it doesn't keep true to the mother plant, so you don't know what fruit you're gonna have. Maybe you're not gonna have something so big, maybe it's gonna be something with really hard seeds, so it's a bit of a Russian roulette. Also, it fruits in around 6 years, which is amazing. It doesn't need stratification, the seeds, and you can just plant it. We also planted as well, and they already came up, and it's amazing. You can plant it also as a windbreak. For example, if you are not sure that it's gonna make a really nice fruit, you can just plant it in a windbreak. Because of its bushy shape, it can really take a lot of space and close the fence and close the hedgerow, giving at the same time food for us, food for the animals, for pollinators, and also making a beautiful fence and edge for animals to not come inside. So now we're gonna taste these 2 that we have right now from the supermarket, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about the cultivars that you usually find in commercial nurseries. Varieties are seedless, and it doesn't mean that it has no seeds. The seeds are so small and so soft that you actually chew them and you don't feel them when you eat them. So the seeds are there, and they're actually very fertile, and you can just take them and plant them. This pomegranate, it's called Wonderful, and it's one of the most widely cultivated commercially for juice. It's incredible. The color, it's so vibrant and so... It's actually a berry. This is a single flower, and you know, as a berry, it has all the seeds with the pulp around it. These are called aerials, by the way, because the seeds is inside, but the pulp with the seed inside, it's called aerial. So Wonderful is it's a very vigorous and early variety, cultivated mainly for juice because it has quite a good balance between sweetness and acidity. It's a bit acidic, like a pomegranate, like a real pomegranate, and it has really big fruits. The juice is gonna be fantastically beautiful for this color, like almost like a wine. But the downside of this variety is that it has really big seeds and they're quite hard. It's amazing. It's a bit acidic but also sweet, so tart and sweet, but the seeds are a bit bothering. This one, it's called Mollar de Elche, and this one comes from Spain. It is one of my favorite varieties because the seeds are so small that you chew them and you don't even notice. So it's almost like, sometimes they're called without seeds. And the seeds are like blushed with pink and white, and they're quite, like the aerials, they're quite big with the almost non-existent seeds. So you can just pop them in your mouth, you chew through them, and they're so soft. And this one is very, very sweet. So it has almost no acidity. You can just eat it like that. It doesn't bother your teeth. It's actually cold resistant to -12. The thing about Mollar de Elche is that you don't really make juice with it because the juice will be very sweet and the color is not as beautiful as, you know, this wine color juice. So it's more used for eating like that as a fruit. So a very interesting one that comes from, it's an old French variety with a very high cold resistance, is Provence. And this is a pomegranate that it's resistant to -15, which is also quite a rarity. Plus point, its visual aspect. It's really big golden fruits with red blushes that taste sweet and tart, quite balanced, perfect for juice. But a minus point is again the hardness of its seeds and the tendency to burst. So when they're very ripe, sometimes they really like crack open. Mollar de Elche does also similar. And it's also very spiny. Acco, it's another early variety from Israel. It's commercially used worldwide, and its fruits are medium size, very sweet in taste with a really bright red color, and the seeds are small and soft. So that's amazing. It's like a Wonderful but with soft seeds. It ripens very early, in September in France. For this reason, it's adapted for regions with short summer, and it's hardy to -12. So that can be also interesting. The Parfianka always receives the highest praise for overall flavor in taste tests. It makes incredible tasting juice with a complex taste, sweet and acidic, slightly tannic, reminiscent of wine, with large dark red fruits resistant to burst, with very tender seeds. So you have it all. One downside is that it's very, very thorny. Cold-Hardiness to -10 and -12 Celsius. Fleshman, it has a variety from California with excellent taste. Also receives a lot of prizes for its quality of the taste. It has pinkish fruits with sweet aerials and very soft seeds. And that's hardy to -13. Fina Tendral, it's also a well-known variety from North Africa with large golden fruits washed with the red with very sweet and fragrant taste. It has also very small and soft seeds, easy to chew and swallow. So when you want to plant a pomegranate and you're looking for the cold hardiness, it's not only to what extent it can resist to cold, but also how early it can ripen. Because if you have short summers, it's going to be unripe when it gets already cold. So it's very important to see what a precocity it has, how early it is for it to fruit. So in nature, usually when you find them wild here in south of France, they are really, really tart and really astringent. So they're very acidic in the mouth. You just go like, and they have huge seeds. So they tend to go back to their wild state when you plant them from seed. But anyway, if you want to try it, because all of these, they came from seed, so there's no other way that we're gonna find other varieties. But if you wanna check out the seeds, you can clean them with your mouth. You can just eat the pulp around, and you can plant these without having to go through a stratification period. You can just plant them directly in soil, and in 1 week, 2 weeks maximum, you're gonna see the little plant coming out.